Welcome back to our channel History Coins HD. As you that old is gold, but these rare Kennedy half-dollar coin that are most valuable than you think, don't spend one of them. You're lucky if you have one of these, so please watch complete video and find your treasure. Let's start this. Coin number 1. Today's journey takes us deep into the heart of American numismatic history, straight into the story of one of the most fascinating modern coins ever struck in the United States. The 1971 D Kennedy half-dollar. And now, you might be thinking, a 1971 Kennedy half-dollar? I have one of those in a drawer somewhere. But don't be too quick to judge this coin by its cover. What appears to be just another everyday half-dollar could, under the right circumstances, turn out to be worth a small fortune. And by the end of this video, you'll know exactly why you'd grab your magnifying glasses and put on your detective hats, because the 1971 D Kennedy half-dollar might just be hiding something extraordinary. Let's start by going back in time. In the wake of President John F. Kennedy's tragic assassination in 1963, the nation mourned deeply. In his honor, the U.S. Mint acted swiftly to create a coin that would immortalize his legacy. The result? The Kennedy half-dollar, introduced in 1964 and quickly embraced by a grieving nation. The first year of issue featured a 90% silver composition. But that changed as time went on. By 1971, the Mint had transitioned the half-dollar to a copper-nickel clad composition. That makes the 1971 series, especially the one struck at the Denver Mint, marked with a small D under Kennedy's neck, technically the first of their kind without any silver. Or, at least, that's what most people believe. Here's where things start to get really interesting. You see, while the Mint officially ceased silver production for circulation coins in 1970, mistakes sometimes happen. Accidents. Oversights. Coins being struck on leftover silver planchets from previous years. And that's what brings the 1971 D Kennedy half-dollar into the spotlight. Among the millions of copper-nickel coins produced that year at the Denver Mint, there are rumors and some authenticated reports of a few that were mistakenly struck on silver planchets. These are not just rare, they are almost mythical. Finding one is like discovering buried treasure where no one thought to look. Imagine this. A coin that looks completely normal to the naked eye, same design, same year, same D Mint mark, but under testing, it turns out to be struck on a 40% silver planchet. That's not just a mistake. That's a golden ticket in the world of coin collecting. So what exactly makes these coins so valuable? First and foremost, rarity. The vast majority of 1971 D Kennedy half-dollars are made of copper-nickel and worth around 50 cents to a couple of dollars in circulated condition. But a genuine silver-struck error from this year? That's the kind of thing that makes headlines at auctions. Then there's authenticity and verification. Collectors and dealers use methods like the drop test, specific gravity analysis, and even X-ray fluorescence to detect whether a coin is made from silver or clad metal. If you suspect you have a 1971 D half-dollar with unusual weight, color, or ring to it, don't ignore that gut feeling. Get it checked out by a reputable coin grading service. Because if it turns out to be one of the few struck on a silver planchet, you might be holding something incredibly valuable. Let's also talk about condition. As with all coins, condition is everything. A worn-down error coin will still carry value, but one in mint or near mint condition? That's where the real magic happens. Collectors pay a premium for coins that are not only rare but also well-preserved. That means clear details, little to no surface damage, and sharp edges. There are also visual cues to look out for. Silver coins often have a more lustrous, creamy tone than the dull gray appearance of copper-nickel clad coins. The edge of the coin can also be a giveaway. If there's no visible copper stripe along the rim, you might just have a silver planchet coin. Even more astonishing is that some of these error coins went completely unnoticed for decades. Only recently have collectors started to uncover their existence, sparking a renewed hunt through old pocket change, inherited coin jars, and long-forgotten collections. And here's the kicker: some of these 1971 D Kennedy half-dollars with silver errors have actually been authenticated, certified, and sold at auction for astonishing prices. We're not talking hundreds. Not even thousands. One extraordinary example, authenticated and confirmed to be struck on a leftover silver planchet from a previous year, fetched an unbelievable amount at auction. A life-changing sum that turned a once-forgotten coin into a legendary collector's prize. Now, if you're still here, get ready for the big reveal, because one of these incredibly rare 1971 D Kennedy half-dollars has sold for an eye-popping total of $95,000. Yes, you heard that right. A $half worth just 50 cents in face value. A coin you might have overlooked in your change jar. $95,000.so. The next time you come across a 1971 D. Kennedy $half, don't brush it off. Examine it. Study it. Weigh it. Look closely at the edge. You could be holding a modern-day treasure in your hands without even realizing it. Thanks for joining us today on this incredible numismatic adventure. If you enjoyed uncovering the mystery and value of this rare Kennedy $half, make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss a chance to learn about more hidden gems in the world of coin collecting. Who knows, your next great discovery could be just one coin away. Until next time, happy hunting and happy collecting. Coin number 2. We're diving into a mysterious and often overlooked chapter of American numismatic history, one that could be sitting right in your pocket change, completely unnoticed. We're talking about the United States 1972 D. Kennedy $half. A coin that millions of people have handled, spent, and saved over the years, but very few truly understand. This isn't just another piece of pocket silver, or rather, nickel-clad copper. It's a coin with secrets. And if you're lucky enough to find the right one, it could change your life. So stick with me, because what seems like an ordinary $half might just turn out to be something extraordinary. Let's begin by setting the stage. The year was 1972. America was in the thick of the Vietnam War. Nixon was president. Gas was 55 cents a gallon. And disco was just starting to sneak onto the airwaves. Amidst this whirlwind of change, the U.S. Mint continued producing coinage for circulation, and among these was the now iconic Kennedy $half, originally introduced in 1964 following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The $half quickly became a symbol of national mourning and pride. The design was created in record time and released to the public just months after his death. Americans embraced it not just as currency, but as a keepsake, a tribute, and a reminder. But fast forward to 1972. The coin's composition had changed. Gone were the days of 90% silver and even 40% silver. By then, the Kennedy $half was made of a copper core with a nickel coating, commonly referred to as clad. And the Denver Mint, identified by the tiny D under Kennedy's neck, was churning out millions of these $half for everyday USE. So what makes the 1972 D. Kennedy $half so special? Why are collectors today searching high and low for specific versions of this coin? Here's where things get fascinating. While the majority of 1972 D. $half are common and worth little more than face value, a small number of rare and unusual variants have surfaced over the years. These are coins that were struck with errors, struck on wrong planchets, or struck with such precision and in such pristine condition that they become extremely valuable to collectors. Imagine a coin that was supposed to be clad but was mistakenly struck on a silver planchet left over from earlier minting years. Or maybe one that has doubling in the lettering, misaligned dies, or other striking anomalies that make it a one-of-a-kind piece. These are not just errors, they're numismatic treasures. Now let's talk about what you should look for first. Examine the coin's condition. A 1972 D. Kennedy $half that's heavily worn may still be interesting, but one that remains uncirculated, meaning it looks as crisp and clean as the day it left the mint, is much more desirable. Second, pay attention to the coin's weight. A typical clad Kennedy $half weighs 11.34 grams. But if your coin is heavier or lighter, it might be struck on the wrong planchet. These mistakes can result in major value increases, especially when confirmed by a professional grading service. Next, inspect the edge. A standard clad $half will show a distinct copper stripe on its edge. If your coin lacks that stripe and appears to be solid silver, you might be looking at a striking error that could be extremely valuable. Then there are the minting anomalies. These can include doubled die outbursts, off-center strikes, broad strikes, and coins struck through grease or debris. In rare cases, coins were struck with proof dies or on planchets meant for other denominations entirely. These are the unicorns of the coin world, and yes, they do exist even for the 1972 D. Kennedy $half. Coin collectors and dealers know the thrill of finding such an error. That's why people are combing through inherited collections, old coin jars, and even bankrolls, hoping to stumble upon one of these rare beauties. Let's not forget about grading. Getting your coin graded by a trusted third-party service like PCGS or NGC can significantly increase its value. A high-grade example, especially one with an error or anomaly, can sell for many times its face value. And here's the part that keeps collectors awake at night, wondering if they passed up a treasure. One very rare 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar, certified by experts, confirmed to be a mint error, and preserved in exceptional condition, went on to make headlines in the numismatic world. This was not your everyday coin. It was a perfect storm of rarity, condition, and mystery. A coin that stood out in every possible way, and now, the moment you've been waiting for, that single 1972 D Kennedy half-dollar, thanks to its extraordinary characteristics and historical importance, was sold for an astounding sum, one that most people would never believe possible for a coin they've likely seen dozens of times before. It was sold for a jaw-dropping total of $88,000, yes. A half-dollar from 1972. A coin that may have once been handed over at a gas station, dropped in a vending machine, or left in a drawer. Worth $88,000. So what are you waiting for? Go dig through those old change jars. Ask your relatives if they have any coins tucked away. Go through rolls from the bank. The next great discovery could be in your hands right now, and you wouldn't even know it. Thanks for joining us today. If you enjoyed this journey into the fascinating world of rare coins and hidden treasure, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and ring the notification bell so you never miss a story like this again. Coin number 3. We're uncovering the mystery of the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar. It's more than just a coin, it's a hidden chapter of American history, a collector's dream, and for some lucky individuals, an unbelievable discovery. Let's take a moment to think about this. 1973. The Vietnam War was still dragging on. Gas shortages were beginning. Nixon's presidency was starting to unravel with the Watergate scandal. And in the midst of all this, the U.S. Mint quietly produced one of the most overlooked yet fascinating coins in modern American coinage. The Kennedy half-dollar was introduced in 1964, just months after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. It was a coin born from mourning and pride, meant to honor a young president who inspired millions. It instantly became a symbol of hope and unity, and an icon in American coin collecting. By 1973, nearly a decade after its introduction, the Kennedy half-dollar had undergone several changes. The days of silver were long gone. The coin was now made with a copper core and a nickel outer layer, what collectors call a clad composition. Still beautiful, still meaningful, but no longer containing silver. Here's the twist: the 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was never released for general circulation. Let me say that again, you could not get this coin in your pocket change. The only way to get your hands on a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar was to buy a special U.S. Mint set that year. That's it. No circulation. No rolls at the bank. No loose coins at the grocery store. If someone spent a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar, it either came out of a broken mint set or got into the public by accident. That makes it rare by nature. And now, fast forward 50 years. Most of those mint sets have been opened. Coins have been lost, handled, scratched, or simply spent without anyone realizing their uniqueness. That means finding a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar today, especially one in pristine, uncirculated condition, is becoming harder and harder, but it gets better. Among the 1973 Kennedy half-dollars, there are a few mysterious, rare, and downright astonishing versions. These are coins that weren't just saved, they were struck in error, struck with unique features, or even made using incorrect materials. Yes, we're talking about mint errors, double strikes, off-metal strikes, and wrong planchet errors. Imagine this: a 1973 Kennedy half-dollar that looks just like the others, but is struck on a leftover silver blank from previous years. Or one that's missing part of the design. Or even one that shows doubling in the letters or numbers, a classic collector's clue that something went wrong at the mint. These coins are more than just mistakes. They're miracles of timing and precision. And to a collector, they're like finding a diamond in a pile of rocks. What makes them so valuable? It comes down to 3 things: rarity, condition, and authenticity. Rarity is obvious, these error coins aren't supposed to exist. They were made unintentionally, and only a handful ever make it out of the mint. That makes them ultra scarce. Condition is just as important. If your 1973 Kennedy half-dollar has been sitting untouched, with full detail, no scratches, and original mint luster, that dramatically increases its value. And finally, authentication. If you suspect you have something special, the only way to know for sure is to send it to a trusted grading company like PCGS or NGC. Once verified, your coin is no longer just a collector's item. It becomes a certified piece of history. Now here's where the story really takes a turn. A few years ago, one of these ultra-rare 1973 Kennedy half dollars surfaced. It looked ordinary at first, same portrait, same year, same presidential seal on the back. But it wasn't. This particular coin was struck on the wrong planchet, preserved in remarkable condition, and confirmed by grading experts as a true mint error, something that shouldn't even exist. Collectors went wild. Bidding wars erupted. And what happened next sent shockwaves through the coin collecting world, because that one 1973 Kennedy half dollar, verified, authenticated, and cherished, was sold for a jaw-dropping price. It sold for $85,000. Yes, you heard that right. A coin worth 50 cents on its face. Worth $85,000 to the right collector. So if you have a 1973 Kennedy half dollar sitting in a box, in a drawer, or hidden away in a mint set, take a closer look. You might be holding a forgotten piece of American history, or your ticket to a life-changing payday. If you enjoyed this deep dive into rare coins, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another hidden treasure story. This is just the beginning. There are still millions of coins out there with secrets waiting to be discovered. Coin number 4. A coin that could be hiding in plain sight, sitting in your piggy bank, your drawer, your old coin collection. And yet, this very coin, the 1988 D. Kennedy half dollar, has become one of the most surprising discoveries in the world of modern US coin collecting. This isn't fiction. This is real. So stay with me, because by the end of this video, you might be checking your change a lot more carefully than you ever have before. Let's start with the basics. The Kennedy half dollar was first introduced in 1964, just months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The United States needed a symbol of unity, strength, and remembrance, and this coin became exactly that. With Kennedy's strong profile on the obverse and the presidential seal on the reverse, the half dollar became one of the most beloved coins in American history. But by the 1980s, something strange was happening. The Kennedy half dollar was no longer being used in everyday circulation the way it had been in the 60s or 70s. By 1988, most Americans rarely used half dollars at all. They were mostly seen in banks, casino rolls, or collector sets, and the U.S. Mint was producing fewer of them for public use. The 1988 D. Kennedy half dollar, struck at the Denver Mint and marked with a small D under Kennedy's neck, was just one of many minted that year. Millions were made, but only a very small number would go on to make history. Now you might be asking, how can a coin from 1988, made of common materials and minted in large quantities, be worth more than a luxury car today? Here's where it gets exciting. Among those millions of 1988 D. Kennedy half dollars, there are a few coins, just a handful, that were struck with unexpected and mysterious flaws. We're talking about rare mint errors, the kind of mistakes that happen only once in a blue moon. These include coins struck on the wrong planchet, or coins with off-center strikes, double dies, where the design appears doubled due to a misalignment, coins with missing layers, clipped planchets, or other visible anomalies. And once in a while, something truly extraordinary slips through the mint's quality control, a coin that defies expectations and becomes a holy grail for collectors. These coins don't shout at you. They don't sparkle in gold or gleam with diamonds. But to a trained eye, they're worth their weight in treasure. Let's talk about the value of error coins. In numismatics, an error coin is one of the most thrilling discoveries a collector can make. Why? Because they're often one of a kind. Unlike standard issues, which can be found in every coin shop or online auction, a true mint error means that something went wrong during production, something that makes that coin totally unique. Now add condition into the mix. A mint error is valuable. But a mint error that has been preserved in uncirculated, near-perfect condition? That's where the magic really happens. Picture this, a 1988 D. Kennedy half dollar that was struck on the wrong planchet. It looks different. It feels different. It sounds different when tapped. It weighs just a bit off. It may have sharper details or areas where the design looks, well, unusual. And someone, instead of spending it or tossing it in a jar, decides to have it examined, authenticated, and graded by one of the most respected services in the world, like PCGS or NGC. Suddenly, this 50-cent coin becomes a certified, high-grade, mint error collectible. And now, collectors around the world are willing to pay top dollar because this is a coin that shouldn't exist the way it does. It's a mistake. A masterpiece. And it's vanishingly rare. But wait, there's more to the 1988 D story. Rumors have circulated in collector circles for years about a small number of Kennedy half dollars from that year showing proof-like surfaces, even though they were not officially released as proofs. Others seem to have unusual edge designs or may have been struck using older dies with slight variations in lettering and detail. These subtle differences, when authenticated, can significantly raise the coin's desirability, and the result? Sky-high values at auctions, private sales, and among elite collectors who want that one elusive coin to complete their sets. So here's the moment you've been waiting for. Among all the coins produced in 1988, one rare and unusual 1988 D Kennedy half-dollar, authenticated as a true mint error, preserved in brilliant uncirculated condition, and verified by experts, shocked the coin collecting community when it appeared in a high-profile private sale. That single coin was sold for a mind-blowing total of $75,000, yes, you heard that correctly. A coin with a face value of just 50 cents sold for $75,000, and guess what? It could happen again. It could be sitting in a coin jar, a bankroll, an inherited collection, or hiding in plain sight. All it takes is the right eye, the right knowledge, and just a little bit of luck. So next time you come across a Kennedy half-dollar, especially one from 1988 with a D mint mark, don't ignore it. Examine it. Weigh it. Look for signs of doubling, striking errors, or anything that looks just a little off. Because you never know, you might be holding a rare piece of US history. Or better yet, your very own hidden treasure. Thanks for watching. If you found this story fascinating, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell icon so you never miss another rare coin reveal. There are more secrets waiting to be discovered, and we'll be right here to uncover them with you. Coin number 5. We're about to shine a spotlight on a coin that most people have seen, many have forgotten, and only a rare few truly understand. It's the 1992 Kennedy half-dollar, specifically, the one struck at the Philadelphia Mint, known by the small p just beneath President Kennedy's neck. Now before you think, come on, it's just a coin from the 90s, let me stop you right there. Because what we're about to explore is far from ordinary. This is a story about rarity, mystery, and an unexpected twist of fate that turned a simple 50-cent piece into a collector's dream, one that could be worth more than most people's entire savings. So grab your coins, open that old collection, and pay close attention. This could be the video that changes the way you see the Kennedy half-dollar forever. Let's start with the basics. The Kennedy half-dollar has always had a special place in American history. First released in 1964 as a tribute to the fallen President John F. Kennedy, it instantly captured the nation's heart. Americans lined up to get one not just for spending, but as a memorial. For decades afterward, the coin continued to be struck each year, but over time, it became more of a collector's item than everyday currency. By 1992, the Kennedy half-dollar was still being minted, but something significant had changed in the world of coin collecting. The US Mint was experimenting with different finishes and sets, including a return to 90% silver for proof coins sold to collectors. That year, two versions of the half-dollar were made, a clad version intended for circulation, and a silver version, included only in special proof sets. The 1992 P. Kennedy half-dollar came from the Philadelphia Mint and was supposed to be just another clad issue. Billions of them had been made over the decades. But what most people didn't realize is that a tiny number of these 1992 P coins hold a secret. Some were struck in error. Some were struck with proof dies. Some may have been struck on silver planchets. These coins are not supposed to exist the way they do, and that makes them incredibly rare. Let me explain. In rare cases, a silver planchet, meant only for the proof coins, may have accidentally ended up in the press used for circulation coins. In other instances, a circulation coin may have been struck with the highly detailed, mirror-like dies meant for proof coins. This kind of mix-up at the mint doesn't happen often, but when it does, collectors pay serious attention. Now, you might be wondering, how can I tell if my 1992 P. Kennedy half-dollar is one of the rare ones? Start by weighing it. A standard clad half-dollar weighs 11.34 grams, while the silver version weighs about 12.5 grams. That difference may seem small, but it's a huge clue. Next, look at the edge. Clad coins will show a copper-colored edge sandwiched between the layers of nickel. But silver coins? No copper. Just a smooth, shiny silver edge all the way around. And finally, examine the finish. If your 1992 P. Kennedy half-dollar has a deeper shine, more reflective surfaces, or sharper details than usual, you might have a coin that was accidentally struck with proof dies. That kind of error could turn a common coin into a rare treasure, but the real magic happens when condition comes into play. Collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that are uncirculated. That means no scratches, no fingerprints, no wear. A coin preserved in mint state condition, especially with a rare error or variation, is like gold in the collector's world. And if that coin is professionally graded by a service like PCGS or NGC? Even better. That's how truly jaw-dropping prices get unlocked. Let me share something fascinating with you. A 1992 P. Kennedy half dollar, believed to be struck on a silver planchet, something that was never supposed to happen, has surfaced in the coin collecting community. Experts were stunned. They examined the weight, the edge, the finish, and everything pointed to a genuine mint error. Once authenticated and graded, this unassuming coin, just 50 cents in value on paper, went on to do something extraordinary. It made headlines because that particular 1992 P. Kennedy half dollar didn't just catch the attention of collectors. It became a centerpiece at auction. And it was sold for a staggering, unbelievable price that no one could have expected. That coin, once overlooked and forgotten in a collection, was purchased by a determined collector for an astonishing total of $68,000. That's right. A coin minted in 1992. Worth 50 cents. Sold for $68,000. So, here's the big takeaway: coins like this still exist. They're out there, hiding in coin rolls, collections, inherited stashes, even pocket change. They don't glow. They don't come with a certificate taped to them. But if you know what to look for, and you're lucky enough to spot the signs, you might just uncover something incredible. If you've got a 1992 P. Kennedy half dollar, check it carefully. Weigh it. Examine the edge. Look at the finish. And if anything seems off, don't ignore it. You could be holding one of the rarest modern coins in the United States. Thank you so much for joining me today. If this video opened your eyes to the incredible value hiding in plain sight, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and tap the notification bell so you never miss a rare coin discovery. And remember, treasure isn't always buried. Sometimes, it's just sitting in your coin jar waiting for someone like you to uncover it. Until next time, happy hunting, and keep checking your change. You never know what it's truly worth until you look.